What is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I am Jules, personal trainer manager for Byword Freeform Fitness. Today we're going to talk about bodybuilding. We're going to talk about what is bodybuilding, how it started, where it is now, my own experience with bodybuilding, and we're also going to go over pros and cons of maybe competing in bodybuilding if you were ever interested. I'll share everything with you. Let's get it. All right, so let's get right into it. What is bodybuilding? Well, to be honest, I think bodybuilding has many definitions. We're gonna go over 3 of them. The first one, obviously, is the one everybody's thinking about, is the people on stage with little to no clothes and flexing and showing their muscles. So that's my first definition of bodybuilding, is where it's a contest to show off your muscles, show off your physique, and basically you're gonna be posing to do that, and you're just gonna go through a series of poses comparing you from one person to the other, to the other, to the other, and then the judges are gonna base their decisions off the definition that you bring to those muscles, the size of those muscles, the symmetry of those muscles, and obviously the posing aspect. Number 2, I describe it as an art. So all of you people that start working out to achieve a certain look, a desired look to your physique, you are technically bodybuilding, because you're building your body to the image that you want. So it's art. You're sculpting your body. It's art. Number 3, bodybuilding is a lifestyle. Many people never compete. They just live bodybuilding as a lifestyle, where they eat 6 meals a day, high protein content, watch what they eat, just to make sure that they live a healthy lifestyle. And that can be muscle building, losing fat, just living that bodybuilding lifestyle where you weight train and do cardio to achieve that muscular, low body fat look. All right, so how did bodybuilding become popular, I guess? So in my opinion, it all started with, you know it, Arnold Schwarzenegger coming to the USA, winning those bodybuilding competitions, going into movies, doing all of those things based on the physique that he had, because it was very impressive at the time. So I feel like that's how bodybuilding and the image of bodybuilding kind of started as a whole. And then it kind of moved on. So yes, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, those guys with the classic physique look that we call nowadays, because that's how they essentially started. And then it kind of went into a place where those guys were starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and we moved towards the Ronnie Coleman era and the Dorian Yates, those types of guys where they were just massive dudes, very impressive, massive dudes. And that's when bodybuilding kind of started to become you have to be the biggest of the biggest, and bigger is better, and then bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's when you see steroid abuse, drug abuse, health problems, because let's face it, your body isn't necessarily supposed to maintain 300 pounds of muscles year round, all the time for a number of years. And then that's why you see certain people from that era slowly start to pass away, which is very bad. But in a sense, your body's just not meant to carry that much muscle. And nowadays, with social media, three-time champion Chris Bumstead, C-Bum, with the new division in bodybuilding, which is classic physique, to kind of bring it all back to the Arnold days where, like, yes, they were big guys, but nothing too crazy. And I feel like this is where bodybuilding is headed nowadays. Obviously, Chris Bumstead gaining so much popularity throughout the bodybuilding world, and he's been champion 3 times in a row. So it's really a sign that things are moving towards that direction, which I think is great for the sport of bodybuilding, and just for people to look at a certain bodybuilder, a certain physique, and like, it's just more, I guess, appealing, more realistic to look at that and be like, you know what, like, I kind of want to look like this. But if you look at the guys that are 300 pounds on stage, and it's just like, it's insane. So they kind of lose the appeal, the aesthetic, the beauty of the sport, where classic physique is kind of bringing it back. And I think that's where it's headed now, and I think that's a great thing for the sport. All right, so next we're going to talk about my experience with bodybuilding. Yes, I have competed before. This one time, it was an objective of mine that I set out after maybe, I'd say, 5 years of solid, consistent weight training. I decided that I wanted to push my limits and compete in a bodybuilding show. Like, obviously, as you can see, I'm not the biggest dude in the world, but I still did it. A lot of people were doubting what I could do because, again, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, and the images that they get of bodybuilding are extremely big dudes. So that was my goal. I did it. I finished 3rd place. So I mean, like, I got 3rd place. It's not bad at all in a open weight class, basically. So I was, man, like, I was on stage with some dudes that were probably like close to 200 pounds. But I mean, like I said, bodybuilding is an art. So there's a multitude of things that come into play in the judging. Like, the experience on stage is unbelievable. The camaraderie backstage with all the other bodybuilders competing, everyone's cheering for one another. So this is just great. And then, like, yeah, it's insane. You set out a goal and you go out and achieve it, and you go on stage, and being on stage, the last part of it all is where you just kind of release everything. You've been working at it for so long, and now's the time for you to just show everything, that, like, how hard you've worked for so long. But that being said, when you're on stage is when you probably feel this, like, the worst. You're dehydrated. You've been restricting food for a while now. Like, you're super tired. You can't really sleep that much in the last few weeks. Like, everything, you just feel the worst physically. But mentally, you do the show, you do everything, the spotlight is on, and you feel great. So that was my experience. Would I do it again? Yeah, I would do it again. But it's a full-time job. Like, you need to be committed to getting your workouts in, planning your food, getting everything you need in order to succeed, and that has priority over everything else. So your partner in your life needs to be on board with it, because they'll be a big part of it all in helping you, in being there for you, and just making sure that you're heading in the right track. And they'll, like, at the last few weeks, you're not your best. Let's just put it that way. So in terms of the look that was achieved on stage, is it sustainable? I think not. You're down to 4-6% body fat. It's not sustainable year round. Like when you go back to normal, you've seen what you can do, and it's just not the same, right? Like you're like, oh, but I was that, but like then you forget all the hard work you did to get there, and it's just, yeah, it's just not quite, not the same exactly. But if you look at the regular bodybuilders, the C-bums of these world, Chris Bumstead, and the like the Ronnie Colemans and the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like can an average person achieve those types of results? Who knows? The thing you gotta ask yourself is they use a lot of, like, they use some, I wouldn't say a lot, some of them use a lot, some of them use some, like steroids, performance enhancers, steroids, just growth hormones. So they use a lot of that. So if you're somebody that's not looking to use any of those, just, you can view it as a goal, but just know that what you see as a goal and your dream physique, and you're like, I want to look like this someday, just go halfway, and that's what you'll get. If you get in all the hard work, all the nutrition, like if everything's perfect, your genetics are good, it's like you'll get maybe halfway to that physique, which is still very, very good. So it's just, some have helped more than others, and that's just part of the game. But if you're somebody that wants to maximize what your body can do naturally, then you got to lower those standards. With that being said, here are my pros and cons of competing. If you're someone that's looking at competing into a bodybuilding show or anything, here's my pros and cons. Pros, it builds discipline, because you're forced to have your food ready, get your workouts done, get your cardio done, or else you just won't achieve the goals you've set out to achieve. So it builds discipline, it builds healthy habits in terms of like food and gym and workouts and all of that. It builds healthy habits that you can keep doing after your show, with like eating supplements, exercise, all of those. And honestly, the last pro is the stage experience is amazing. Like, it's like nothing else. You won't regret it. It's the best feeling in the world. So yeah, so those are the pros. The cons, going at a low body fat percentage for those shows, like the 4 to 6%, does mess with your body, with your hormones, with everything. So you don't feel great. And afterwards, it takes you a while to kind of bounce back and just feel like you felt before the show, because it does impact a lot of those. Also, because of the last few months, your diet and your nutrition is very restricted to achieve that 4 to 6% body fat. It can create some eating disorders afterwards and some body dysmorphia type things afterwards, simply because you've been restricted for so long, and afterwards you just want to eat everything. So it's good to know that that's happening, and to try and slowly reincorporate those foods back into your life. And then for the body dysmorphia, I think we talked about it earlier, where it's like, you know what you can be, and now you obviously gain more weight because your body goes back to what it normally wants, and you just know what you were, and you see what it is now, and just like, you're not happy with how you look. But again, that's something, if you recognize it, you can work on. And yeah, and also another con is like I said, the last few weeks, you're hangry, like you're not yourself. So whoever's surrounding you is gonna take a little bit of a, I guess, like, not a beating, but like you're gonna be not yourself with them, and they have to be a strong person that really loves you so they can stick around, because not everybody does, because it is hard. And then again, like your workouts, your food, your plans, it takes first place in your life. And sometimes it's okay for a short period of time, but when you do it over and over and over and over and over again, then it can push somebody away. So figure out what's important to you. Just know that those things can happen. But I would highly recommend anybody that wants to do it to do it. It's a great time, great experience. I'm not gonna regret any of it. And who knows, maybe down the road I'll do another one. It's only time will tell. But yeah, so those are my pros and cons, especially for a natural athlete. Somebody that's taking enhancers is going to live a little bit of a different experience, although the main points remain the same. So on that note, leave a comment down below, give the thumbs up if you like this video. If you want to potentially compete in the future, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.